So now I'll explain you how to perform dynamic analysis based on response spectrum analysis and time history analysis. So here both are dynamic analysis only, whereas response spectrum is it is as per IS 1893, where they have given clause to perform this response spectrum dynamic analysis. Here, time history curve is normalized based on the different type of soil, and then that based on that, and then mode shapes. I haven't explained you about mode shapes till now. I'll just let you know what is mode shapes. So in this software, automatically dynamic analysis is performed. That is to calculate fundamental natural frequency and mode shapes. It will be done. To view that mode shapes results, what I'll do is it's already performed in the analysis. If you want to see where it is defined, you can go to define. You have load cases. If you click on load case, third one you can see model. So just go to modify or show load case. So in this way, automatically it will calculate natural frequencies and 12 mode shapes it will create the software automatically. So this result I haven't explained you how it will be shown, and now I'll just explain you. So by default the analysis will be performed for mode shapes. To see this mode shape result, go to display, deform shape. Yeah, here if you see you have case, and then at the right side you have mode. I think you need to rerun the analysis. Model is unlocked, no? Yeah, yesterday you have unlocked the model, no? Yes. You have to give a run analysis, then it will be loaded. Same procedure. Only thing is, if it is circular, no, the grids you draw, no, that will be different. Chimneys will be in circular shape, right? Yeah, only change will be regarding creating that grid lines. That one, yeah, maybe this weekend I'll just take 1 hour and then I'll explain you how to do that one. Yeah, loading wise there won't be any change. But is what you said? Yeah. Go to display deform shape. There you can see this window, case, and then right side you have mode. Right side you have mode. Select mode. Yeah, model. No. Model you have first mode, right? Mode number one. Yeah, click on OK. No. Let it be one only. First mode is fundamental natural frequency. First mode. Yeah. So in which window the deform shape is displaying? First window or second window? 3D view. Now can you hear me? Okay. Yeah. Hello. Is it clear now? Okay, okay. In which window the deform shape you're seeing? Plan view or 3D view? At the top, it will be mentioning it as mode shape, model, mode 1, where it is, yeah, yeah, yeah. In which window it is? It is in plan view or in 3D view? 3D view only, right? You can, yeah, click on animation and then check how the deform shape is. This is first mode. So to see the second mode, third mode and all, at the bottom next to start animation, you have right and left arrows, no? Click on right arrow. Analysis is still running. No, no, you are getting deform shape, right? Yeah, if it is deform shape, at the bottom you have a start animation and then you have two cursors, no, left side and right side, indicating next. So click, yeah, click on right side arrow. That is mode 2. If you can read at the top of the window, mode shape, mode 2, and then time period will be there. So similarly, 12 modes you will be getting. So first mode is always governing the failure of the structure. So that time period will be always higher compared to all other modes. So you can check what is the time period for second mode and first mode. In this case, what you are getting, time period for second mode, minus. Where you are reading? At the top you are seeing. Okay, what about second mode and first mode? 355. Okay, yeah, same thing. And first mode? So if you observe, first mode will be always have higher time period compared to other modes. So first mode will always govern the design. So why I was explaining about this modal analysis is based on this time period, response spectrum analysis will be performed. Response spectrum and dynamic analysis. So this is the dynamic behavior of the structure. So now we'll be considering the load, external load. This effect is caused mainly due to stiffness of the members like cross section dimensions and self weight and then density of materials and modulus of elasticity. Based on all these parameters, this dynamic behavior is calculated. So now, yeah, I'll just unlock the model. Now I'll explain you how to perform a response spectrum and time history analysis. So in both the cases, before defining load case, we need uh, these load case. Just a minute, I'm getting a call. Hello. Hello. Yeah. So yeah, in as I said, in dynamic analysis, before defining load case, we need to define functions. So whether it is response spectrum or time history function. So in whereas in static analysis like dead load, live load, equivalent static, earthquake load, wind load, we used to define load patterns, right? In load patterns we used to define, but in dynamic analysis we will not be using load pattern. We will be using only load cases. So for that, go. No, modal analysis by default it will perform. I have not yet started response spectrum and time history. I have just explained you about modal analysis, how software default it will perform. Okay, then coming to yeah, response spectrum analysis. Go to define. Yeah, unlock the model. Yeah, if you go to define, you can see functions. Y- Yes. It will not affect the model. Only the results will be deleted. That's all. Well, again, if you run the analysis, it will be reloaded. Define. You can see functions. In that, you have response spectrum and time history. Yeah, first you click on response spectrum. Okay. So at the right side, you can see a drop down. Choose function type to add. In that drop down, select IS 1893 2016. There are two codes. One is 2000 and 2016. So whichever code you want to do the analysis, you can select accordingly. Then add new function. Then you will get the function name. There you can define it as zone 2, zone 2 RS you can define. In this you need to define some parameters like seismic zone. So here we are considering zone 2. So select zone 2 only. Then importance factor is 1 only. And soil type you need to select hard. And response reduction factor 3. Yeah. So whatever you had given for equivalent static method, no similar parameters you should use. Yes. Yeah, that will be default. If you change that zone factor, it will automatically update. 3, yes. One is weak soil, two is medium, and three is hard. R is equal to 3. Ordinary moment resisting frame. Yeah. Give OK. Bottom automatically it is loading, no? Once you change these parameters, just change from zone 2 to zone 3. You can see this graph automatically changes. So it is based on the input you are providing, the graph will automatically update. Yes. There is 5% damping only. Okay, yeah. Again click OK. So now we have defined functions. That one we need to apply in load cases. For that, go to define, load cases. Here new window will open. In this add new case. Yeah, here I'll name it as RSPX, that is response spectrum in X direction. Yeah, response spectrum in X direction. So in load case type drop down, select response spectrum. Selected, right? So coming to below, you select add. Then you can see acceleration. Next load name is U1. Yeah, U1 is for X direction. If you want in Y direction, then it should be U2. So now we let it be in U1. Function, in the function drop down, select zone 2 RS, what we have defined now. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. This scale factor, it is considering here acceleration due to gravity. G value. So yeah, so we have already given input all other parameters. So let it be this value only. Scale factor is what change? Hmm. That again it depends on I value, importance factor, response reduction. Those values also will govern. But so when you are doing this dynamic analysis, no, you need to compare base shear due to equivalent static method and that of response spectrum method. So if response spectrum base shear is less than equivalent base shear, this scale factor, this 9805 something is there, no? That scale factor you may have to increase if it is less base shear due to response spectrum. If it is more than equivalent static method, then no need to change the scale factor. No, no, no. Here just give OK. That's all. You need for you to separate load case. We need to define. Click on OK. Yeah, add new case. Here I'll name it as RSPX, RSPY. Sorry. No, PY. X earlier I defined as RSPX. Now it is Y. I'll name it. I'll select response spectrum. Again add acceleration. Instead of U1, I'll select U2. Again function zone 2. Again click OK. So RSPX, RSPY we have defined. Click on OK. Now the model is ready for response spectrum analysis. Just click on run analysis. No, no, assign is not required. Automatically once you define, it will automatically gets applied to the structure. That is dynamic analysis. Only we need to define, that's all. Nothing to assign. Because function we have defined, no? Which one? As no, load case. Here for this dynamic case and all, we will not be assigning separately. Whatever is defined, it will be automatically applied to entire structure. So you just run the analysis now. Yeah. That does not affect any result, whether it is one story or all story. That do not have any impact on the analysis. Yeah. Yeah, that one I'll come next. Is it done analysis? So you can view results similar to other deform shape you are viewing, right? Similarly, these results also you can see. Go to display, deform shape. Here in the load case, you need to select, yeah, in the load case, select RSPX. So that is, excuse me, no, that is not required. So you'll get the deform shape in X direction. Similarly, you can view results for Y direction. Display deform shape, RSP Y. Okay, so you are getting the deform shapes, right? Yeah. Now, next step is performing time history analysis. So this is how we'll be performing response spectrum. Yeah. So coming to time history, I'll just unlock the model. So for time history to perform the analysis, you need to have earlier time history record data, like previous earthquake data will be there. No, it may be Bhuj earthquake or El Centro or any recorded earthquake data. You'll be getting as time versus acceleration, ground acceleration data. That will be provided as the loading here. So response spectrum function you define. No, similarly we need to define time history function as well. In the software, by default, you will be having few earthquake time history record data. So I will use the same thing and then I'll explain you how to do the time history analysis. So for that, go to define functions. You have time history. Yeah, select time history. In this drop down, choose function type to add. In the drop down, select from file. In the drop down, you have no choose function type to add. In the drop down, select from file, first option, and then add new function. You are getting a new window. Time history function definition from file. So you have browse. Click on browse. By default, wherever software is installed, no, in C programs, program files, computers and structures, E tabs. You will be having time history function. Are you able to see that? C drive, C drive, program files. Yeah. In the tabs folder, you have time history functions. You have computers and structures, no, in program files. Yeah, in C drive, program files, you will be having computers and structures folder name. No, I'll just tell you step by step. Go to C drive. You have program files. Yeah, you open that one. In that, do you have computers and structures? Yeah, open that folder. Yeah, open that folder. In that, you can see time history functions folder. Yeah, open that folder. There you can see arrays 06 1. Just right click on that. Open with notepad. You give. No, if you just right click, if you right click on that file, it will show, it will be having many options. In that, open with also will be there. In that, open with, select notepad. No, notepad default it will be there. What are the apps it is showing? Open in WordPad. It is showing some numbers in that. So if you read it, it is showing like it is El Centro earthquake record data, and it is having 3909 points of acceleration data. So this total values. Second row, in the second row it is mentioned 3909 points of acceleration data. So yeah, what it is saying is the data what it is stored, it is having 3909 record it is stored, and for time period between each value is zero point zero 0.01 seconds. In that interval it has recorded. So overall time period for this record is, so 3909 into zero point zero 0.01. If you multiply that, you will get 39.09 seconds. So that much duration data we have here. And the units, if you see, it is in terms of centimeter per second square. So the scale factor will be the centimeter. We need to convert it to our requirement, whether it is meter or millimeter. That one we need to convert that as scale factor. If centimeter we are converting it into meter, then the scale factor will be zero point zero 0.01. Okay, this one I wanted to tell you. And in each line, the number of values you should count. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 values in each row. That is 8 column is there. So these parameters we need to provide. So this time interval like 0.01 seconds, and number of lines to skip is first two lines we need to skip, because first two lines we don't have any earthquake data. Okay, you just move that WordPad side, and then you have this folder, right? Pick time history function data file. Yeah, in that array 061 you have selected, no? Click on open at the bottom. So at the bottom you can see number of header lines to skip, what it is showing. In this, yeah, header lines to skip. Yeah, so first two lines there were no record information, so two lines we can skip. And Second one, let it be 0 only. Number of points per line is 8 only. You have 8, you have also 8 only. And values at the right side, if you see values at equal intervals of, yeah, but it is at a interval of 0.01. That one you need to change to 0.01. No, time history, yeah, this depends on each file. Whatever we are referring to this, it is applicable only for this particular time history data, 0.01. So other time history data might have different time interval. So that one we need to check while before applying. That's why that data I had showed you. Click on OK. Yeah, bottom, below the graph. So then, which window? No, time history you defined and then gave OK, no? Yeah, 06. Yeah, that is there, right? Okay. Again, go to load case. Now we need to define in load case now. Go to define similar to response spectrum. We need to define time history load case in x and y direction. Go to load case. Yes, add new case. Here you can name it as THX, time history in x direction. THX, and second in the second row drop down, yeah, time history. Let it be linear only. Coming to add, load pattern, it will be acceleration, and load name will be u1, function will be array061. So coming to scale factor, it is saying there is one I symbol, no, help this one. If you just place the cursor, it will show which unit you need to consider. The units for the scale factor column depends on the load type. Load pattern unitless, acceleration it should be millimeter per second square. So earlier we had in terms of centimeter per second square the time history data. So the scale factor will be 10. So and then coming to this output time step, we have a number of output time steps as 100 and output time step size is 0.1. 100 into 0.1 if we do, we will be getting only 10 seconds output data only. But time history data we have around 39 seconds. So what you can do is here number of output time steps you can make it as 400. So that 40-second data you can cover it. 400. 0.1. 400, yeah, 400 into 0.1 it will be 40 seconds. Click on OK. Yeah, that will be 0.05 only. Click on OK. Similarly in y direction. Annual case. Yeah, THY. Scale factor 10. And again here number of output time step. In X also it is 10 only. It should be in millimeter per second square, no? No, no, change it to 10 for X also. So click on OK. Again OK. Yes, yes. Yeah. So run the analysis. Is it done? Yeah. Yeah, once analysis is done, in the right side 3D window is there, no? There you just select topmost beam column junction, just a node. What warning? I didn't get you. That's okay, that's okay, leave it. You just close that and go to, yeah, in the 3D view, just select topmost corner node. Beam column junction is there, no? Just select any one node. Yeah, topmost is better. You have selected the node, right? What is the node number? Just right click on that node. You have right clicked on that node. No, no, no. You have not clicked on the right clicked on the node. You have just right clicked on somewhere on the screen. On the node, beam column junction will be there. No, on that you should right click. What label you have? Label number? Label number 4 you have. Okay. So you have selected that node, right? Go to display. You have plot functions. Plot functions. Click on plot function. You are getting this curve. Yeah, this is time history plot. So here displacement is not constant. Whereas equivalent static method and all, you are getting only one value as the displacement. Here it will be varying with respect to time. At 0 it was some value, at time period of 4 second it is some different, 8 second it is changing. So this is time history analysis. So it is varying with respect to time, so it is called as dynamic analysis. Similarly, load case THX is there, no? You can change it to THY, you can see the output for Y direction. Pardon? Yes, yes. In dynamic response spectrum and time history. So clear, right? So now we have covered all the part of analysis. So how to do the static analysis, and static analysis includes dead load, live load, SIDL, and equivalent static earthquake load, wind load. Then now coming to dynamic analysis, which includes response spectrum and time history analysis. So now next we have a design part. Yeah, design. Yeah, I'll just close this window. So you have to to proceed with design. You can see design menu. In that concrete frame design, yeah, in that go to view or revise preferences. So you have IS456. Give OK. Just Control A, select all the elements. Control A. Any view. Anything. Yeah, go to design. Concrete frame design. You have second option, view or revise overrides. Click on that. By default, the design will be performed for the ductile detailing. That is special moment resisting frame. So we have considered response reaction factor as 3, no? So it should be ordinary detailing. So go to frame type and select ordinary. And then give OK. So now we have defined code. So now we need to define load combinations. So for load combinations, either you can define it manually. So how many number of load combinations you require, or else based on the code, software automatically calculates design load combinations. I'll just let you know. I'll just show you one load combination how to define, and then for the rest I'll give it as software only. Manually you need to add the load combinations, right? That one you can give. I'll just show one load combination how to define. Similarly, for other load combinations you can define it. So for that, go to define. You have load combinations below the load cases. In this, add new combo. Here I'll define like 1.5 times of dead load and live load. I need to define. So here in the combo one, I'll rename it as 1.5 into dead load plus live load. Yeah, 1.5 into dead load plus live, just naming sake, so that we can identify that particular combination. In that below, by default you have dead load. In that scale factor you mention 1.5. Again click on add. So there in the second one you can select in the drop down SIDL. Scale factor 1.5, because SIDL also is a dead load only. Next Again, you add select live load and enter scale factor as 1.5. Yeah, give OK. Similarly, you can add n number of load combinations. Similarly, you can define as for live load, earthquake load, wind load, and then dynamic load. All load combinations you can create. Okay. Then by default, if you want to add load combinations from the software only means at the bottom you can see add default design combos. Click on that. So here select concrete frame design. Later, if you want to edit those particular combinations, below you have convert to user combinations editable. That one also you click check it. Concrete frame design and convert to user combinations editable and click OK. So 26 combinations it populated. This is based on the code, it automatically created these combinations. If you want to modify these combinations, you can just create and modify and see the scale factors and all. Okay, right? So just give OK. So now we have defined combinations. Now we need to perform the concrete design. So click Ctrl A only. All the elements you select, go to design, concrete frame design, start design or check. Click on that. So the design will be performed. Yeah, I'll tell you that next. Once we perform the design, we'll get area of steel. So that area of steel, you need to convert it into number of bars. So if you see, you can just move on up the floor, down the floor, and then you can check how the results are varying. So all the members, all the columns are in pink color, or is it in red color also? Just a minute. There are internal columns in red color, right? So that red color indicates the section is failing. So you asked about critical columns, no? Design critical columns and all. In this you can check. Higher the reinforcement and if it is failing, then that particular column is heavily loaded. So yeah, I have designed all the members, not only one. So I'm just saying you which will be the critical one. This middle one is the critical one. Since it is failing, you can increase this column size. These internal columns, instead of Instead of 200 by 600, you can change it to 300 by 600. So beams, everything is in nothing is showing in red color, no? So everything is passing only. If it is in red color, then only it is failing. That one you can manually design and check for that particular force. If you so for that red color, no, that column, if you right click, it will show that governing combination. So if it is failing, if you just right click, it will show the summary, result summary, where which combination it is governing, it will highlight. For example, I have selected one of the column, it is highlighting UD-CON S24 combination is the critical one. So for that particular combination, you can check the forces. So to check the forces for that combinations, you can select that particular member, go to display. You have show tables at the bottom. Yeah, click on show tables. In this, you will be having analysis results. In that, you have element output. You have element forces, columns, beams, frames. Select columns, and then a frame output. In that frame output, you go. Mm. And then, yeah, if you want specific combination only, then go to select combos and select which combination you need to extract the force. If it is only one combination, you can S20, S24, just select it, click on OK. Again click on OK, you will get the table result, that is force table you will be getting. Which one? Yeah, you need to select the member which you want to extract the forces. That particular member you select it. Go to display. You have show tables. You go. You have to go to show tables. In this choose tables for display, you need to select element output. In that frame output and element forces column. At the right side, if you don't want any select load pattern, you just leave it blank. And in the select load cases also, if you don't want anything, you can leave it blank. Or else only dead load. If you want to select only one load case means select dead load, and then coming to combination, which particular combination you require, select that one, click OK and give OK. You will get only for that particular load combination. Here you will be getting P, V2, V3, T, M2, M3. P is axial force, V2, V3 are shear force in X and Y direction, T is torsion, and M2, M3 are major axis and minor axis moments. Based on these values, you need to manually design the element. Yeah. Which one? First thing is you have to select which element you need to extract the forces. Okay. First you need to select for that you have already done the design, right? There you can see for which member you are getting more higher steel. Either it is failing or you are getting higher steel. So higher steel. So based on that you can decide which one. So just if you just right click on that member where you are getting higher steel or if it is failing, there it will show you that which is the governing combination. So that particular combination you can check. Yeah, column. Similarly, beam also. So since it is symmetrical, all the floor beams will be having similar loading. So any one beam you can design. Same thing, you can just right click. You'll it will show you the governing combination. For that particular combination, you can extract the forces and design the beam. Okay, right. So today's class. It's this one also is recorded. I'll compile all the videos and then I'll upload it. This is total area of steel you are getting. For example, one particular column if I take, there I may be getting around, I'll just take one column, corner column, where I am getting steel of 2267. Okay. So here I need to first decide how many number of reinforcement bars I will be placing. So 2267 for 200 by 600 column. Maximum I can provide 12 number of bars. Okay. 2267 divided by 12. No, I am getting steel of 2267 now for one of the column. So I will be providing 12 number of bars for 200 by 600 size. So 2267 divided by 12. So how much you will be getting? Around 188.92. So each bar should be having minimum of this size. So for this approximately I can use 16 mm dia. For 16 mm bar area will be, if you do pi into 16 square by 4. how much you are getting? Yeah, pi d square by 4. So pi for 16 mm dia, area will be 201 mm square. So I required is 188. So I will be providing 201. So 12 numbers of 16 mm dia bars I can provide for column for this particular column I said. Similarly, based on the area, you can fix number of bars and then calculate dia. Similarly, for the beam also. Clear? Hello? Hello? Yeah. Similarly, for the beam, you are getting 6 values. Correct? Yeah. So for column, you are getting one area of steel only, whereas for the beam, you are getting 6 values, right? Hello? Hello? So if you can see, for the beam you are getting 6 values. You have the beam line, above you have 3 values and below you have 3 values. Correct? Okay, okay. Yeah, for beam you can see 6 values, right? 3 values above the beam and 3 values below the beam. So it indicates top steel and bottom steel for the beam. This one will be having many number of pages. If you want to take the print, it will be too big. Instead of that, you create separately this report. Take the screenshots and then simplify the report. Generally, if you want, go to file. If you go to file, you have create report. So here you can mention. So project report. So it will create the report. Okay, right? Okay, fine. So yeah, I have completed all the parts. Edge load, live load, SIDL, earthquake load, wind load, and dynamic analysis, response spectrum and time history, and doing the design. If you have any doubts, you can just make a list of those doubts and then you can call me. Yeah, whenever I'm free, I'll just explain you. Yeah, I'll check that one. Maybe, yeah, give me some 1 or 2 days. I'll just check and share. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Video I'll upload it. I need today's class also I'll compile it.